Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Lucas. I'm an assistant professor within the NLab group at the University of Nottingham, where we work on computational social science and computational demography. I'm presenting our project, Creating Spaces That Understand People. My co-authors, Mohammed and Elena, are there in the audience. What we did here was a scientific literature review looking across a variety of different disciplines spanning architecture, design, electrical engineering, organizational behavior, and everything in between to tie together some of the research that we actually are doing with sensors to understand how people use spaces and how certain architectural decisions that are made and purported to have magical properties to get people interacting and communicating and moving about and doing their jobs really well to see if that actually works in practice. We took as a point of departure the intersection between the building information modelling literature and occupant behaviour modelling, where there's been a lot of work done looking at how people use spaces, but mostly concerned with things related to infrastructure. So for example, energy usage, energy monitoring, that kind of thing. But we chose to focus in particular on talking about applications of wearable technology, some of which, my slide's gone now because I've blown 20 seconds, I'm sorry. That started with applications of wearable sensors in areas such as industrial safety, moving into more recent applications in the areas of studying human behavior, team dynamics, this sort of thing. One place where we've already done some work with the device that's also just flown past me there is this delightful space at the University of Nottingham, the Ingenuity Lab. It's a startup incubator where you have a lot of the principles that we found in the literature actually being done in practice. So for example, a circular design that encourages serendipitous interactions, gets people up and about, encourages people to be creative, this sort of thing. Another thing we identified on this slide, I've finally caught it, is organisational engagement. So there's a trend, particularly when we're talking about office spaces, in making them very much like really cool places to hang out, living rooms, that sort of thing. But we wanted to see if there's opportunities to actually quantify that, measure it, and see if it actually works. Another theme we found was around co-creative spaces, IBM Studios in London being an example of that, where you're trying to get a lot of the internal processes around getting people to interact and be creative and be innovative working, but you're also trying to bring customers into the mix. Another thing we found where there's applications for this kind of thing is, of course, more in the space of well-being and ergonomics. Now that we've got offices designed with standing up desks, things to get people standing and moving about and this kind of thing, how does that change the way they interact? How does that change the flow of people, for example? And of course, similar possibilities in commercial spaces, retail, where we're creating spaces trying to facilitate more of a social experience for customers, for example, and of course, still getting people to buy things. Thank you all so much.